Hey, welcome back. It's Kay from It's Complicated. Just call me Kay. And right now, I just wanted a different setting. I'm at the park right now, one of the parks in Albuquerque. And honestly, I think one of the reasons really like Albuquerque and is really give me a good reason to stay is basically I love being outdoors and it just have a lot of parks. I'm really not a bike rider, but if I was, they have a lot of bike lanes and, there's probably other areas that I haven't explored yet in Albuquerque, but the climate is beautiful right now. I would say it's 328, 67 degrees, clear, just slightly windy, but not very much. As you can see, your girl got her hair done. I got the braids going. Just wanted something different. I had a hair appointment earlier this week, and the main reason I scheduled the hair appointment was basically get my hair trimmed, just trying to do a better job at the natural hair journey that I started back in 2010. And basically just, of course, if you saw my previous videos, my hair is short. It was shorter than that, but then when I first got it cut, the person who cut it didn't cut it the way I wanted for it to be cut. They cut it in a way that it was more, I forgot what kind of hair, it's like an undercut type of hairstyle. It was cute, but it kind of delayed my new hair growth journey. So now that I'm trying to grow my hair out, it's kind of like in a funky hairstyle, so I have to kind of like cut it some as far as trimming, and then just try to do the best that I can with it. But anyways, I was gonna go in and have my hair straightened, like do a blowout straightening, and then get it trimmed. The last time it was trimmed was, I believe it was either end of December or early January, I believe. And it didn't look like it really needed a trim. So when I went in this last time, I, told my stylist, that basically if it doesn't need to be trimmed, I would just like to have like a cornrow type of style. I can just put like a little bun at the end, which I kind of have right now. It's not perfect bun, but something just throwback of when I was in the military. And I used to wear the little buns or whatever. So I guess this kind of giving me my throwback military day vibes when I was in the army. So your girl been doing better. I didn't need another trim, so I ended up getting the cornrows, and I'm pretty much have it scheduled to where I may end up needing to, I got it scheduled in June to go ahead and, have my hair straightened and trimmed. But she said that it was a lot better, a lot healthier, and she noticed the growth. So I'm like, yes, it's pretty much on my way to get my hair back long the way it used to be. It was long, it was past my shoulders, but it wasn't healthy. I was still confused about what to do as far as my hair care, not being natural very long at that time. But anyways, earlier today, I did a run. I wasn't really feeling that great because, I guess right now I have a health issue right now, gynecological issue that kind of been throwing my hormones way off. And one minute I don't know if I'm gonna have a cycle. Next thing I just don't know. Anything. It seemed like it was triggering it, but that's gonna be taken care of. I have surgery soon to remove a large fibroid from me. When I was running today, I was kind of thinking about that. These random thoughts, as I say, when I run, it seemed like it's the time to meditate and things just come to mind. And one of the things that came to mind is, that I had a pap smear 2016, seemed like everything was okay. But the fibroid part, it's not cancerous. It's very, very unlikely. But after I get it removed, it's going to be tested. And basically, it's just kind of, I had like a little slow run. So it wasn't nothing to brag about. So, my pants feel shorts feel short. So it wasn't really anything to brag about. I just had like a little run, but I was thinking more of, I'm like, what could have caused this fibroid? Was it C19? And what I felt at the time I had to do in order to prevent from getting, I guess I call it the yin yang. Getting that. Try to keep it away, but I've been blessed. I didn't get COVID. I don't even believe I'm not going on why I say it now. It's a habit. But I never got in COVID. Even before the I guess 2021, in the heights of it, I was still able to, I felt, I guess in my heart of hearts, not out of delusion, but just knowing that I wasn't going to get it. I felt protected and things of that nature. So do I regret getting the shot or whatever? I don't really regret it. It's just so much confusion about it, or how people think. Some people say, don't get it. Some people say, it's health-wise. People been getting vaccines for, ever. Me, I did go to school at one point. I thought about going pre-med or whatever, so I took some science classes in undergrad. So basically me with the science background, just understanding all that, I just like, why not, So I wasn't really scared of it. So I took it, just because it was what it was. But at the same time, I wasn't really fearful. Like before or after, before things gotten kind of better, and then up to now, I wasn't really that fearful. But anyways, that's pretty much my day. But during the run, one of the topics that came to my mind, just off topic, was the narcissism. Do people really know what narcissism really is? A lot of times when people talk about narcissism, it seemed like these days, I'm gonna put it this way, when I first found out what narcissism was, right before leaving my ex, up until I would say a little bit afterwards, I had no clue what narcissism was. And I really do believe that my ex suffered from narcissism personality disorder. So I will get into that in a second. Now, fast forward today, sometimes I feel like the word narcissism is thrown around. Anybody can be a narcissist. People can look at my video and be like, she's a narcissist, She must think she all that, got a little makeup done, got her hair done. She must be a narcissist. And I believe that sometimes I wonder, it's great, to my opinion, it's great that the word is really known. But sometimes I feel like all the powers that be, the 1%ers, whatever you want to call it, that basically control the world, got it to the point where it's like, okay, well, it's like I let everybody talk about it, and therefore, random people, not just let everybody talk about it, just let random people who really don't know what narcissism really is, and just go with it. So now you can just look at people like maybe Trump, Kardashians, not saying they are or are not. I don't know who these people are, this, that, and the other. I'm not living with them. I don't know exactly how they treat other people, so I cannot diagnose if they have NPD. However, for the ones who seriously want to know, am I dealing with somebody in my personal life, in my work life, wherever, that has personality disorder? Because a lot of times you can look on TV and assume this person, that person, look on social media, whatever, and assume this person or that group has it, but in real life, do you really know, are you dealing with somebody who has narcissistic personality disorder? In my opinion, I believe that most people who haven't really dealt with it don't really know, because a lot of times with narcissists, they have people that's called, in what it's called, I think it's a psychiatric term, basically called flying monkeys. Basically, it's just basically a group of enablers that's friends with the narcissist, a family member with the narcissist, close confidant, a person that got in contact with the narcissist for whatever reason, that basically believe that this person is a good person. And basically, so they see somebody, the flying monkeys normally see the narcissist in a totally different light because they didn't interact with this person. And I guess you could say that whenever they interact with a flying monkey, they basically had their best foot forward. In a sense, they acted like a normal person. But to the one who's being affected by the narcissist, whether it could be the narcissist spouse, partner, family member that they interact with a lot, or not even interact with a lot, just they basically get the brunt of this narcissistic behavior. So I would say a lot of people probably don't. A lot of people probably more flying monkeys, and basically they probably experienced narcissistic behavior, but I can go into all that, but it's going to be like an hour video. So I will say, whoever watching my video, I will really appreciate if you subscribe, like, and comment. And the more subscribers I haven't really gotten to depth with that, or into debt, whatever. If I ever got in depth with it, as far as reading into the YouTube guidelines, I probably can do a live right now, but I don't want to do a live and feel like I'm talking to myself. That's just no point in it. So I would love to do more lives later on. But I will say basically my story. Okay. When I met my spouse, at the time, I would say I was probably one of my darkest, as far as not being able to stay on campus, had to move back home. Right before the beginning of my senior year of college. So I was in my early 20s, and I wasn't living my best life when I was in college, and I had to go through some things, as far as living with my mom, and who was basically controlling. I tried to get a job so I can at least earn some money, but it really wasn't a conversation. It was, did you get your check? So it was just miserable, and basically he met me at the right time, right place, by through a mutual person that didn't really have it all together. And at the time, I'm like, sure, I give this person a chance, thinking they were pretty much my type. And then I look back, I'm like, this person, I wouldn't give this person the time of day if I would have met them on my own when I was in college. But I guess, hey, when the opportunity knocks, I guess that whatever you want to call it, narcissistic, if it's people psychologically, it's a personality disorder. Spiritually, some people say they're, you know, basically have a, I guess, demonic spirit attached to them or some type of energy, you know, which that, honestly, that makes a lot of sense to me. Because these people do not have, they don't act like normal people. They so calculating, so manipulative, so cunning. It's like they're playing 3D chess, you know, from the beginning until the end, you know, with a person. So I will tell a person, if you experience that type of person in your life, don't even try to get back with them and all this stuff, because at the end you're just doing nothing but hurting yourself, and you're not gonna win in that situation more than likely. If I had to put my money on it, I'd be like, I will not do it. I'm gonna lose. So basically, I met this person. One of the signs that the red flags, just narcissism, not even just dating, but just narcissistic tendencies. One that asks for marriage very early on in dating. I think within a month, I would say within a month or two of dating. The first time I was like, that's when my intuition kicked in, and something didn't seem right. So I just said no, and I just like, this is kind of weird or whatever. But because I wasn't healed at the time, didn't have any counseling, didn't have no knowledge about a lot of psychological type of terms or whatnot, or issues that a person go through, I basically, another sign, number two, I didn't, I went back to this person after they basically kind of cut me off. I was like, wait a minute, they giving me the silent treatment, you know. Oh my goodness. So because of that, at the time I'm like, maybe I felt like I must have did something wrong. I missed this person. I had very low self-esteem and all that type of stuff. So hey, a friend indeed is a friend in need, or whatever. But anyways, so I reached out to him, and I guess we kind of started again. I would say number three, love bombing. People always give you, whenever I watch videos, it seems like when they talk about love bombing, it's based upon a narcissist that has a lot of money, giving you roses and take you on the nicest, take you out to the nicest restaurant. No, it was just basically just giving you way more love than what you're used to. For example, whatever I wanted, this person was able to do it in one way or another, and it wasn't a whole lot, whether it was something free or not, or inexpensive. It was just, this person seemed like they weren't thinking about their own finances, about their own future, about their own circumstances. It was, oh, you need me to do this? I'll do it. And I'm like, dang, this person is very, very giving, you know. They was always around me. They were always available when I wanted to call, or they would call me, how you doing? They were just going overboard, you know, with the love bombing. And then it's like, it was very, very agreeable. So that was one of the signs. And so going forward, you know, we didn't date very long, this and the other. And another sign that this person, I would say with this person, they know this. That's why I'm like, this person knows right from wrong, because this person, even though they didn't believe in boundaries, they know what boundaries were. So with my family, they didn't practice boundaries. So whenever I was with him, he was basically telling me that your family can't just up and come to your house whenever they felt like it, you know, which that's a good boundary. Yeah, you can't just intrude and feel like you can just do whatever you feel like doing. Even when I had my graduation from college, And that to me seemed like that wasn't a very happy time. It wasn't really I didn't get the vibe that was very celebratory. It was, oh, you graduated, oh, it's on this date, we'll show up, but nobody talked about plans on what they wanted to do or how we're going to celebrate. So after graduation, at the time I was, with my ex. We weren't married at the time, and my family, I was living in my own apartment, and my family just wanted me to just go and get the keys. Really didn't ask, was really disrespectful. And I really didn't trust him. It's not like we had like a really close relationship. So it was like, give me the keys to your apartment. We go set up this and that and the other. And I'm like, I don't trust y'all. What made you guys think that you could just go in my apartment and just basically, and they didn't like this guy. So it was like me battling which side to believe between a narcissistic toxic family and a narcissistic person. So I guess at the time it was him, because he seemed like he had more brownie points, I put it that way. So, and then at the same time, oh, excuse me, I'm like, my ear is bothering me. So at the time, and I had my own car, it seemed like they didn't want to respect boundaries. But I ain't gonna say they, my mom and my youngest sister didn't want to respect the boundaries of my car, like my transportation, and then he basically was like, your family shouldn't be just wanting to take your car whenever they feel like it. They should be able to understand that, hey, I'm not able to give you my car at this moment because I have to go to work or such and such, but it seemed like no. And at one point, my mom, I guess I feel sorry for her because she didn't have a car. And at one point, and mind you, my mom wasn't respectful towards me or anything like that. And it was just really not a relationship at all. Our relationship was non-existent. And basically, she just used my car. I guess had my youngest sister using my car, and they ran it to the ground. They had it for about a year or a little bit over. They ran it to the ground, and when it was running to the ground, no maintenance to it, no oil changes. They just like, here's your car back. And it's like, well, it's no good now. Thanks. And they didn't pay me or anything. But when I had the car, honestly, I feel like I didn't really enjoy the car that much. When I first bought it, it was like, they wanted it when they wanted it, and they didn't have to give me gas money. It is what it is. And then at one point, I just basically put my foot down and said, you couldn't use my car. I gotta go back and forth to work. I need some money too, It's not like they didn't even care if I had money to go, because my mom wasn't calling me and making sure but I was in college, making sure that, do you have enough food? Do you have this? Do you need help with anything? It was like very rare. I had to ask, and I probably asked one time, and she gave me like little $20 or whatever, and was like, didn't ask me, how's college going? How are your grades? The normal stuff. It was, are you messing around with boys? You ain't doing this, are you? It was just weird. I'm like, dude, I'm in college. I'm the first person in college. Why are you making it seem like I'm doing some shady shit instead of getting my education? And mind you, out of 7 people in my family, I'm the only one. The first who attended college, and the only that attended, well, I think some family members years later attended some college or whatever, but at the time, it was like, why you think I'm doing something shady? And that's probably the only time I got money from my mom was like $20. And even when I needed money for college to help pay for the rest of my tuition, my mom didn't even tell me that she was going to get a settlement. My youngest sister told me in a braggalicious way, like, oh, I'd say my mom, because I guess she kind of felt like her mom was more like when I said my mom, I guess was a friend basically, she told my youngest sister that she was going to give her some money, but she didn't. But of course, I wasn't going to get any money. My sister just bragging, because she always, to this day, I guess she felt that she was the favorite and kind of acted accordingly. So I'm like, and then when I was raising money, I even went so far as to have a yard sale. My mom even lied and told me, this was during my this is like when I had to either pay for tuition, figure something out. I wasn't gonna finish my senior year in college, you know, and that'll be my 5th year in college, you know. But I even tried to go so far as raising, which I raised quite a bit of money, and basically my mom, she was like, oh, I need to pay a bill or whatever. Can I borrow such and such money? I'm like, sure, you know. Why would my mom would lie about that? So the Saturday I gave her money. The next morning at church, I'm seeing her pay for Avon. And I'm like, I thought you needed that money for a bill. And this is back in the days when, you know, we didn't have, what you call it, Zelle, cash outs, nothing like that. We weren't freely using debit cards. It was like cash, checks, you know, credit cards, not debit cards. So this was back in 2002, maybe, middle of 2002. So I had zero support from them. And it seemed like when I had something, it was either, it was like a leech to get what I was basically earning. So they didn't care if I was literally out in the streets during college, you know, and they didn't give me a call or nothing. I could have been like, heck, you know. So I didn't have that parent bond or whatever. I could have just left, and it is what it is. So anyways, so I really experienced a lot of turmoil around my senior year in college back in 2002 up until 2003, because he came in, basically taught me, in a sense, some type of boundaries, because I felt like I didn't have boundaries. I felt like I didn't have a voice at the time. And it was something that I realized, it was so much triangulation between me, I'll put it this way, created by my mom, between me, my sisters, some church members, because it was like always in church at the time, and some other, and you know, just like, I don't know what people, especially the ones that was closest to her and kind of knew me at the time, I don't know what they thought about me. But anyways, so I can say whether or not my mama probably was a narcissist, I don't know. It's highly possible based on my family dynamic and how our family is right now. Because she's passed away now. She's been, you know, dead since 2016. So, and our family is like very, unless it feel like it's not close, but hey, maybe they got their little cliques formed and they talk amongst each other, but they really don't talk to me. Because anyways, and plus, some people, a person or two can say they're a black sheep in the family. I'm like, no, because the black sheep is basically not liked with the parent and treated as such. I'm the black sheep in the family because I'm doing things totally opposite from what my family done, you know. And on top of that, my mom wasn't close. Me and my mom wasn't close at all, and she treated me kind of indifferent, or just, I didn't really like you. And as a kid, when you feel that way, you kind of know. And then when you have people that come to you, I remember one of my moms, that's what I'm saying, the triangulation probably was starting during this time, when my mom, a church lady, the pastor's wife, came to me when I was a teen, and just basically came to me randomly and just told me that your mom love you. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, why did she say that? Did she know that I feel that way, or did my mom tell her that I didn't think, you know, that I love my mom, which wasn't true. So back to talking about my husband. So basically, Um, so he basically kind of did the love bombing, kind of acted, his representative was very, very strong. Another sign, I guess, when he felt of him being a narcissist is when I guess he felt like I was becoming a little bit more. One, he had his own apartment, and that apartment wasn't very. He wasn't able to afford the apartment. I guess he wanted to present to me that he's capable of taking care of himself and all this type of stuff, versus somebody who just living with their uncle at the time. And I'm like, so I got my own place. This is not all in order, as far as the timeline. So this is just all the things that happened within the time that, he was at his best representative. So I was in my own apartment and I was doing good. Even though I'll admit it was a Section 8 apartment because I didn't have no money at the time, no prospect for a job, no resources, nothing, and I just need to get out my mom's house because I was gonna be sucked dry anyway. And at this time, I kind of wish if I could look back now, I probably would have been like, no, I'll stay in this apartment by myself, get a job, stack up money. But I wasn't really thinking. It was like a next step in my life that I really had nobody to really help me. It went from graduation from high school track, go to college, graduate from college track, and then it's like, what else should I do? So basically, he called me middle of the night. No, it wasn't something I just thought about. I just remember this. I had a dream. That's why I knew I kind of had some type of psychic abilities. I had a dream that he was in some type of trouble or whatever. And this was at nighttime. Some type of trouble, yada, yada, yada. And this is after I graduated from college, a few months afterwards. That he was in some type of trouble or whatever. That was a dream that I had. And basically, I woke up and then next thing you know, he called me. And I'm like, what's going on? And then he told me that he was feeling all depressed and suicidal, and the little violins coming out. And I guess he was thinking about killing himself. So of course that was like another sign. This time for me, I want to latch on to you now because hey, you got resources. I don't have resources, and I don't want to live in this. I don't want to do this by myself, because like I mentioned, he lived with his uncle's family at the time. So basically, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna call the police, 911, and this, that, and the other. And I guess my codependency tendencies were kicking in. He knew who he had. I didn't know myself, but I can guarantee you he knew me. So I drove over there in the middle of the night, checked on him. Police came to his apartment. Mind you, this man's apartment, it was a nice apartment, but he had barely nothing. I don't even remember if it was really furnished. Like he just literally just moved in, and it seemed like he wasn't gonna even buy furniture or nothing like that. So he basically slowly moved. After that, he slowly moved into my apartment. So I was like, okay. So and then of course I had to buy a new car because my old car was shot. So I had a car, and at that time I bought it from those car lots. I forgot, Tote the Note or whatever car lot, and I was basically I didn't get no real help from him. He was like, hey, you need a car, this, that, and the other. It was a nice, decent car, but it wasn't worth the monthly payment that I was paying. And then my mom and one of my other sisters were there. I guess they were happy for me to get a car so they can drain me some more for me to drive them around or whatever. This neck that I did still stay close to my mom. So, so I was basically a resource for this guy. So, fast forward, we decided, okay, we're gonna get married. I guess he asked me about marriage again. It wasn't really a real proposal or nothing. And I can't really say say I was in love with him. I don't think I really was. I don't think I was truly attractive to him. And plus, at the time, I was a virgin. That was another thing. So he got me through sex. So he had that really strong soul tie as well. So we were stuck through a soul tie. And basically, I would say we eloped, went to San Antonio, Texas. We stopped at a store. He was in there for a hell of a long time. And I had a good feeling still. I was dumb. I was, you know, I was 23 at the time. I was still dumb. And furthermore, nobody really taught me anything. I wasn't taught. I don't think anybody in my family really was taught. I don't think people, especially in the black family, were really taught. When I mean taught, I don't mean keep your legs closed, don't get pregnant, go to school. That's just some of the stuff that I remember. I wasn't taught about, you know, being independent, keeping your money, you know, using it wisely. None of that type of stuff. So when we got married, I'm sorry, I'm going ahead of myself. So basically, right after we, you know, so we went to the store, and mind you, I was driving my car. So I had a gut feeling that this is a mistake I'm making, but at the time I felt like it was too late to turn back or whatever, and I didn't have any other in my mind, another option. So I could have easily just got the keys to that car, I could have went in that driver's seat because he was driving at the time, and turned around and drove right back home. And then, so he knew that, hey, she's going to get married to me. So we got our hotel, and basically, another sign. So we got our hotel, like, I think we made it there that morning or whatever, or that night. No, we made it that night. We was at the hotel. We didn't have no ideas. That's another thing. He relied on me for everything, for all his thinking. I had to do all the thinking for him, it seemed. So basically, I had, you know, basically went to the hotel. I found the hotel, found the church to go to Marriott. It was like so impromptu. But even during that hotel stay, another one sign, I forgot the number, 434, whatever, just changed it up just like that. I was like, oh my freaking God. This man just literally did a switch up. It was as if I wasn't important. It was like a form of discard. So I'm thinking we're supposed to be like elope on our honeymoon, but while I'm in this room by myself, you're not talking about the future or anything. He was, the next morning, this whole Saturday, I was at the hotel, he basically stood out in the pool. It's like he purposely did that, just stayed at the pool, talking to a group of people. They were partying, I guess. Mind you, he was like in his late 30s. And I won't go here myself. I will talk about all that when I move forward, just to stay in some type of timeline. He was having a good old time with these people, you know, and I'm like, I was kind of feeling sad, because I'm kind of like, why in the world are you spending so much time with these people, but you're not spending no time with me, you know? And it was like he did it on purpose, because even if I did go out to the pool and spend a little time, I didn't want to go out. I didn't swim. I wasn't really comfortable. Didn't have a swimsuit that I really wanted or anything. And mind you, at this point, I felt like I was making a mistake. So basically, he was at this pool, and the hotel wasn't even all that nice, to be honest. It was one of those little cheap hotels that we could afford. So he was at the pool, just all day, it seems. All day. He would come in to the to the hotel to use the restroom or whatever, talk to me for about a second, didn't really check up on me, and then he went back to the pool. So it's like, you didn't want to spend no time with me, you want to spend time at the pool. So, and then the next day when we found the church to go to, here go the front. Oh, I'm in love, I want this and this, I'm this and that and all that type of stuff. I'm like, oh my God, you know. So we eventually get married, and that's pretty much the beginning of the nightmare that I was in. So fast forward, I'm not gonna go through each thing that I went through, but I will give you some things that happened. So this won't be very long. Got married. Basically, he seemed like he just couldn't get it together. It was like poor little Tink Tink, you know, this and that. I would say, as far as the lazy man or whatever, a man would be the man, or dusty or whatever, he was all that type of stuff. So whatever you can think what a dusty was, he was a dusty that was, the dusty there was, a dusty that is. So let's put all that in perspective. Okay. During the marriage, I would say early on in the marriage, found out that he lied about the number of kids he have. He probably still uphold. If I talked to him today, he will still uphold that lie. He said he had one child, but yet I'm finding documents and stuff that no, you seem like you have more than one child. You possibly have either 2 or 3 kids, but I would say at least 2 kids, as far as I knew at the time. Second of all, this man had a record. They didn't tell me the way another thing they would do, they would tell half truths. And we didn't have Google, we didn't have YouTube, we didn't have, barely even had a fucking, what you call it, internet, emails. It was like, all that stuff, we didn't have, social media didn't exist. And I would say emails and internet was still in its infancy. And Google, it was like, we didn't have Google. So it was like, how can I find this information? That's why I would say, the information, we're in the information age, technology, whatever you want to call it. This is such a blessing today. This is like, I wish I had all these resources, because honey, I would have been doing some freaking research. I would have been doing some type of investigations and everything, trying to find out this information. You know, I didn't have none of that. Nobody, like I said, in the family didn't teach you nothing, didn't warn you about anything, nothing. And then my family, like I said, I guess birds of a feather, not birds of a feather flock together, but just you know who you know. So they probably see through all this person, but they didn't really, but my family didn't really respect my humanity. So they didn't really come to me and try to talk to me and let me know. It was just like, at that time, they was harassing me. For example, before our marriage, when me and him was like in my apartment together, they were either he was either visiting or stayed. They would come at any times of night, banging on my door, knocking on my door, whether it was one of my sisters. She's one of the favorites, I put it that way, the older one, knocking on my door, harassing me, like no respect at all. My mom talking to me any kind of way. I mean, it was just, it's like, if it wasn't the way they treated me, it was basically drove me more closer to him. You know, it didn't drive me closer to them. It was like, I don't want to be with no people that harass me and don't really care about my feelings or my time. They didn't value me at all. So y'all, in a sense, made me for this relationship. So basically, he, you know, wasn't really, you know, he just acted like the Dusty. So one of the things, he lied all the time, straight up lie. what it's like, it's like you knew he was lying. And it was like, this man would lie so much. I just, before I knew what a narcissist was, I just felt he was a pathological liar. Like right now, it's a sunny day. He would basically lie and be like, it's raining, with a straight face, and believe it. And, well, he lied about his status as far as having a prison record. He made it sound like he just went to prison, did a stint. They said that he wasn't guilty of anything and he just went on by his life. This man here had a record. So he basically couldn't get a job. So I was like, thanks. And I found that out, I guess, when he got a mail or something, or I was going through some more of his stuff and I found that out. Two, intimacy was gone. It was like no intimacy no more. It's like, I gave you what you wanted, and therefore no intimacy. I would have to be the one that mainly initiated. And basically, you know, and then come to find out, like looking on hindsight, I honestly think he was on DL, because he had one incident where this man knocking on his door one day when I was there. Like, he was like a jilted lover. I didn't think of it at the time because nobody was really talking about DL, and you know, if you was masculine, you was masculine presenting. So I believe he was on DL, and then he will talk about other stuff. But the one thing I felt like the reason why he was on a narcissist, why he was a narcissist, or still is, the fact that even during our marriage, he was like random, because a narcissist, they have to talk about what they did to somebody, but they ain't gonna tell you exactly what they did. They will either talk about it in like some imaginary scenario or whatever, or some type of projection. They always, if you really listen, they will always tell on themselves. So he was like, for some reason, he was always able to find a transgender person. He was always able to find a transgender person out in the streets. And it's like, how you know this person? Who really pays attention to, well, this person who walks down the street on such and such boulevard, the transgender person or whatever. So that told me right there he was having, in my opinion, he was having sex with a transgender person, you know, this, that, and the other. And he was always talking, you know, and then he always going on these so-called fishing trips late at night or something. So, or I'm part of a church group, but this time I wasn't, you know, this was like close to my divorce, you know, getting ready to leave him, and he attends this church, and I at this time I was barely even believing in, you know, Christianity or whatever. So all of a sudden he wanted to go to this church. He was a devoted church person. He didn't mind leaving me, even though I was pregnant at the time with my second child. So he was going on these church, I don't know what else to call it. Basically, you spend the night. So I'm thinking, are you having church? Are you sleeping with a pastor or a deacon? Because at that time, I would automatically think he probably was cheating with a woman, which I did catch, and found out that he was either having emotions about somebody or he was planning on cheating. I know, but now I'm thinking, I believe he was not only cheating with women, he was cheating with men too. So he was on DL, and I know as far as narcissists, more than likely a narcissist will be having sex with anybody, anyone, or probably anything. I'm just being very, very open. So that's some of the things I had to go through. And two, causing stress. It's like just always causing stress, always causing fights. If setting up things to the point that make you look like a bad guy, for example, causing an argument before I went to a friend's wedding, causing me to be late, looking like a bad friend. Cause you know, guys, they don't care about that. You know, a friend be thinking a little bit deeper, like. And at this time, I'm not sure we're not friends anymore. And the way she just kind of like just blew me off, I don't think she really was ever truly a friend, especially after my divorce. So, excuse me. So, and then if I had a birthday, I guess it was one of my oldest daughter's birthday party, or just a birthday gathering, really. My oldest one, she was like probably 3 at the time. I don't remember exactly. We was in North Carolina at this time. He will start an argument. I'm like, before this party, so now I'm in a bad mood while he, of course, faking the funk. Like, he's the good guy, he's a great husband and this and that, but something wrong with her. That's the things they do. And one of the most egregious things that he did is when he knew that I was getting ready to, he knew, because I talked to him many times, that I'm getting ready to leave him, and I'm being like a normal person, like, you might want to start the process, because I'm about to leave you, you might as well get ready to find you another place to stay or whatever. But that's just me. And this was back in 2008 through 2009. So basically, he started doing, because he knew I at the time I wasn't really into my spiritual game. I still was kind of like I believe in a higher power. I believe in, Jesus and all that, even though I had some doubts about the teachings. But I wasn't really, but I believed in spirits, I believed in ghosts, because I experienced it firsthand, which I'm probably one of my next videos of all my experiences and stuff. So anyways, I'm gonna put it this way, we live in a house on post. He got a second job because I pretty much forced, I guess, he's like a kid. If you're about to take his candy away or whatever, that's when they're gonna do extra. So he got him a second job at a restaurant. So I tell him I believe in ghosts. He know that, and they will use the stuff against you. So he left. We had a van, something that we could afford. A minivan. Don't judge. Do what you gotta do. So basically, this male, I'll put it that way. He would leave from work. I still had my vehicle, which was a small car in a garage. So he would leave. It was late at night, and the next thing you know, the alarm would start going off in the car, and then it would just stop, like beep, beep, kind of like that. And I'm like, why is that? At first, I was kind of scared, because I'm talking about myself, and at this time, I was, like I said, this was all egregious. I was pregnant, like, pretty much getting ready. My child was born, my youngest was born. I'm trying to think. It's either right before she was born, because we were still together even, either a little bit after she was born too. So, right, soon after, before our divorce. Okay, I'm trying to record nobody's conversation, but some people close. So, get ready to. Basically, this person did that little joke. This is before I knew it was a joke. So he comes home, and I'm like, what are you doing, like, that's not what he's doing. I'm going ahead of myself. I'm sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. So I'm like, he comes home, and I'm like, something weird just happening. The alarm just goes off on the car and just stops. Mind you, this car was still fairly new. It didn't have barely any miles. It was in great shape. Nothing like this never happened. So I think the next time he went to work, maybe like next night or a few nights later, not that long, he leaves, do his little work stint. Next thing you know, the alarm did the same thing, And I was getting ready to call him. Oh, I remember. Oh, I remember now. I remember. Before he came home the first time, I called him and told him what happened. So I don't think he stayed at work very long after, because he knew I was scared and I was pregnant, I remember. So he basically came home, comforted me, whatever, the best he can, because there was really no comfort at that time. He was just more annoying to me. I just couldn't stand his ass, ready for him to leave. So I feel like I was trapped. That's another thing, when this type of relationships, you feel trapped. I was isolated from my family. He knew, and I would go to, that's another story about that, the isolation. After I had my first child, he didn't really talk to me. He already made plans with some family members. Like I said, I live in Texas, so he made family plans with family members in Houston. And at the time, and then he basically came up with a lie or excuse to me to basically pretty much make me say, yeah, let's move to Houston. When he basically told me that his brother-in-law, school teacher, which that was true, was able to help me get a job because he had connections, because I was having a hard time really finding a job to use my degree. And then when we moved there, away from my family, I mean, that was it pretty much. I didn't find no job, and I believe that they didn't think they were supposed to be helping me find a job, as far as the brother-in-law and his, and his sister. But back to the story. So I was isolated at the time, so I didn't have, I was basically, didn't really get the comfort or anything. But then during this time, something was telling me, like, I guess my spirit was really talking to me at this time, really strong. So, and basically protecting me also, because I have a feeling he had a potential of basically hurting me or going even farther, to be honest. So spirit really helped me get out of this, and it was just up to me to listen to spirit and got me through all this. Because at this point I was really depressed and all this. So it wasn't really myself. I pretty much lost myself and pretty much enmeshed with this person here, his personality. Because he acted like everything was just great with him. It's, he was grandiose. You don't have to be rich to have a grandiose personality. You just think you just better, higher, even coming up with lies to make you be this type of person. I'm like, oh, the sun is in my face right now. But anyways, so basically he left. Then the alarm situation happened again, and I'm like, so I was gonna call him, and something told me don't call. So I didn't call, and like something just told me he's on his way home. True enough, I guess he was waiting for me to call. I didn't, and then he was on his way home. He was basically in the door within probably 5 minutes after that or so. And then I got into an argument with him. I'm like, you the one turn that alarm off. No, I'm not. Yeah, you are. You over here knowing that I'm home by myself. You know that what I believe in, and you're gonna use that to try to scare me. And he was like, I didn't do that. There's something wrong with the car. You must. And that's another thing. Invalidating your lying, gaslighting, invalidating your feelings. That's the stuff that he did throughout the whole, marriage. Even when I caught him flirting and spending more time. That's another story. Even I lived during, not Hurricane Katrina, but it was another hurricane. But it was heading towards the Texas Gulf Shore, or Gulf of Texas. During that time we left, because I was scared. I never went to no hurricane. We had stuck on the bus, Greyhound bus, yada yada yada. Tell me why this nigga spent time with another woman instead of with me, with a young child. This whole time he was acting more like a doting husband to me. I mean, to the lady, some random lady, because she was escaping. She was leaving Louisiana. And I remember this at the time. he was acting more like a doting husband to her than he was towards me when we were leaving Houston. You know, and that trip was a nightmare. Being stuck on a freeway for hours. Got into a crash with somebody that hit the bus. So we was at a standstill. Barely any food, barely any water. A baby, and all this other type of stuff. So basically, yeah. But anyways, so we was arguing and things, and at this point, I knew he was the one that did it. I'm like, you did it. And around this time, I started, you know, sneaking into his emails and stuff like that nature, trying to find out what he was doing. He was already planning a trip to see some high school friend, this woman from, I guess, Florida, ready to see her and go out of town. Even she had money, from what it seemed like through the email. So he ready to use her, I guess, because he knew that the end was with me, and I was getting ready to discard him. Another thing he did is the triangulation. Like I said, this man was playing 3D chess. Unbeknownst to me, when I was getting ready to kick him out, because I didn't want to live with him no more. Because even when I had my child, he wasn't even in the hospital with me. Dropped me off at the hospital, left, basically leaving the night. So I'm thinking he probably was sleeping with one of his pastor friends, deacon friends. That's just my belief, and I believe he was sleeping with somebody else too at that time. Another woman, because she was always there. When he wasn't working, he was always there. Or she was always there. So he probably was a he too, but she was always there when I wasn't there. And I'm coming home, and then she looked at me all kind of funny. And she was married too. She was married too to an officer. I'm like, okay. And I didn't like her, because I'm like, why are you at my house but whenever I'm here, you seem like you don't want to be here. Okay. So I guess they were just friends, but he was talking some bullshit about me, or more going on. She was probably getting her little jump off. But anyways, so I started checking his emails and all that type of stuff too, and I'm basically about to get got cut off. So basically, this is the time when I was leaving him, and I started reaching out to people. This is after I had my child, and you find out, diagnosed with postpartum depression, and so basically seeing the counselors and stuff, and literally had to run. Had to literally, not run. I'm saying, literally had to plan all this out so he can get the fuck on. So basically, he didn't want to leave. He wasn't planning on leaving to go nowhere, even though I'd gone to divorce. But he was doing stuff in the background. I found out during this part of my life that he what did he do? He went to my first sergeant, and mind you, I was like the pariah at this point, because they didn't like me that well. That's another story. I'll probably talk about toxic workplaces and how this can follow certain people later on. But so it was easily when he went and reached out to my first sergeant. I noticed because she told me that because she was about to kick me out of my own house because he wasn't in the military. So she was about to kick me out of my own house on base, had me stay in the barracks while he'll take care of my newborn child and my other daughter, who was really young at the time. So I I don't. He could have easily decided to. If that would have happened, he could have easily decided to just run off in whatever type of scenario you could think of, and kept my kids. So, but like I said, I was Wendy. I was more on the fact that he was playing 3D chess, but Spirit already was like, I got you. Don't worry about it. He can be trying to play 3D chess, but at the end of the day, we know everything. We nosy. We will hear what's going on. We're gonna help you get through this. So she was about to kick me out when I sat down with her and was telling her what was going on. He already talked to her and probably told her all types of lies to her. So I guess, and then I went and did what I needed to do. That didn't happen. She had no basis at that point of kicking me out and putting me in the barracks while he's either living on post with my 2 kids. God knows what he would have been doing to my kids, which honestly I hate to say at the time I didn't know, but knowing a narcissist, I don't know whether he probably messed around with my youngest child or not. Not my youngest, my oldest child. And I can't say definitely because I have no proof and I don't know nobody coming after me legally or whatever. But that's so. Anyways, I didn't get kicked out, and as the process, and then on top of that, he spoke with my one of my other sergeants that nobody really liked. This guy was misogynistic. This black misogynistic guy who was in the military, and he basically was feeding my husband. I don't know how he got the information, or if my husband got in contact with him first, but all I know is I found out through a conversation that he was talking to my husband, telling him all the moves I'm making. Oh, she's planning on putting a restraining order on you. Oh, she's planning on doing this. So basically, because I had to tell my direct sergeant, what was going on, but he was telling him. So honestly, he could have easily got in trouble. I could have easily reported him, but I don't know. At that point, I think he ended up leaving or whatever. But anyways, so he knowing what was going on, what I was doing too. I didn't end up getting a restraining order or anything like that, but at the time, they pretty much, one of the resources I had on post knew this man was abusive. He was mentally abusive, emotionally abusive. He never hit me, but there was threats of violence as far as hitting and all that type of stuff. Not hitting, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. As far as being aggressive, yelling, screaming, hollering, getting up in my face, that type of stuff. So, and then on top of that, he was really jealous person, very jealous. He always accused me of cheating on somebody in the office, somebody I just said hi to, somebody I went to basic with, always cheating. But hey, as a narcissistic person, that's another sign. When they projecting their things on you, just believe that they're doing it. So to make this a little bit more shorter, he eventually I ended up kicking him out. I told him I'm getting a divorce. He didn't want to leave. Yada yada yada. The way things worked out, I was able to kick him out. This man here, and it was at nighttime too. This man got my phone, got the van, not the small car, got the van, drove all the way from Arizona overnight, basically. Left his little job, didn't live in a motel or whatever until he got on his feet, because he's a leech, he's a narcissist. All they do is want your energy and what you can do for them. Drove all the way to Florida, close to Miami, to live with his mom, and he's been living with his mom from, I think, sometime in 2009 till now. And it's been over 2009, 2019. They're gonna be like almost 20 years. So he basically discarded his kids, abandoned us. That's another narcissistic sign. Mind you, around this time, he had friends. He had people that loved him, honey. Trusted this man. He was a good man. Oh my God, he was a good man, they say. Oh my goodness. When I was shopping, after I separated from him and got divorced, it was one of the ladies that recognized me out of a rare time I went to church, and she knew Taurus. And she was like, I was at the commissary, and I told her that I divorced him or got divorced. And she was like, how you gonna take care of the kids? How you gonna do this by yourself? I'm like, Mom, I can do it. It's been single women, single parents before, now, and after, there's gonna be some after my divorce. I'm good, and I was good after that. And one thing I know as far as spirituality, it seemed like to me, and that's what kind of made me want to believe that these people who got these narcissistic personality disorders, the ones that I described, and I just saw living 11, is the fact that they say that a lot of times they either got some type of, I don't like saying possession, because people say the possession is like the horror movies or the stories you see, these ghost stories or whatever. It's just a spirit, another energy that's very, very low vibrational, described as demonic, that basically just making you make the moves. You're not yourself no more. The longer you have this spirit, you just basically just told this energy basically told you, your soul, your spirit, move to the side. Let me take the wheel. Let me take the wheel. Not Jesus take the wheel. Let me take the wheel. This demonic evil spirit. So basically, when I was living with this person, blessings seemed like they weren't really coming. I wasn't getting promoted while I was in the military. It's like everything would seem like they were just held up. Before marrying him and being with him, it seemed like God was opening doors for me as far as helping me for college. Got a little full scholarship that I eventually lost because I didn't pass and my GPA dropped or whatever at one point for the scholarship. And I was just getting blessings on blessings, whereas even though I was still going through the things I was going through childhood up until then, when I met this guy, but when I met him, it seemed like I was doing well, but it seemed like no breakthroughs were really coming. There was no breakthroughs for him. Hi. Oh, no worries. And none for me at all. It was just living life, just normally, but with a narcissistic person that was abusive. But after leaving him, hunty, it seemed like life just started moving. I ain't gonna sit here and say that things weren't getting better. Life just started getting a little bit better. I still had hard times because I feel like as a empath, as a spiritual person who was not really working in my divine calling, in a sense, still figuring things out. I call the period after leaving him like what you call it, growing pains. I was going through growing pains still, and that's when I really had to experience things in life. I know, mind you, even after I left, this man still wanted to try to control my life. Call me in the middle of the night to some bullshit. And I'm like, dude, didn't talk to him, whatever, hang up. He even went so far as to call my new sergeants when I moved to Tennessee. Soon as I got there, like I said, he knew what was going on. He wanted to ruin my life at my job, my new job. And these sergeants, he called them, eventually reached out. He called my new duty station, even though he knew I was moving there. And he spoke to these sergeants who are already toxic as hell. And they already had their eyes on me. And I wasn't even, it was like I was still new there. And he called them, probably told them some lie. Well, he did. Told them that he didn't know where we were at. That was a lie. Told him I wasn't getting in contact with him. Why? Because we were divorced. You don't need to know about my life. And other types of bullshit, to the point these women call me from my house after work hours back to the office to tell me to give this man a call, because he does. These women are very, very male, I guess identified male, got a male mindset. They're not for women. I'm not saying they're gay. I'm not saying they're gay. They more for the men. They more for patriarchy in that mindset. So basically, I'm like, then I was in shock. I was like, what? Stressing out and everything. Just bought a house and all that. Going through this. Since the time I was there until I left, it was like a whirlwind. Just nothing but drama. Toxic. But anyways, this man even orchestrating things to get worse for me. And I basically literally had to cuss him out. Which, knowing that don't mean nothing to a narcissist, I just stopped talking to him, just stonewalled him from now on. And I eventually blocked him. I'm like, you don't need to talk to me. You ain't providing no child support or anything like that. You're probably willing to go to jail and get that bussy popped. So I'm like, I blocked him. I mean, even to this day, I opened a Facebook page for my business. Soon after I did that, less than 24 hours later, he already requested a friendship. I just blocked him and blocked the other pages that he have or whatever. I'm like, this man is sick. And if he died today, I won't feel sorry for him. I'll probably feel happy because that demon is out of his body. He probably can finally be free, you know. So basically, that's pretty much my story of being with the narcissist. I know I experienced me being who I am. I believe I'm still learning. I went through my spiritual awakening, like my Matrix style spiritual awakening, last summer. And it's probably one of the reasons, I ain't gonna say probably, it is the major reason why I decided to basically work for myself. But I will go into that soon in the future. I'm just want to make these videos. I hope right now it's after an hour. I know it's very long. This is pretty much the story of my life, you know. And it's in order to talk about narcissism and an example of being in a relationship with a narcissistic person. It's the lies, the constant gaslighting, the constant invalidation of your feelings, the no support for you, you know, entrapment, the victimhood. I believe he was also on drugs too at the time, because this man here was always going to the hospital for some type of opioids or something of that nature. He'd be like, oh, Elizabeth, oh, it's like a little stress. Oh, can't pay the bill today. Oh, my wife's stressing me. Oh, my heart is palpitating. Oh my God, my heart is, oh my God, Elizabeth. That phrase is from like Sanford and Son. When he reached out to his dead wife, he's just like, oh my God, you know, Elizabeth, please send me on home. But instead of sending me on, please, I need to go to that hospital and tell him that I'm so stressed and so, oh, I need that medicine, because maybe when I was getting ready to move from the from Fort Huachuca, which is like one of my favorite places. Arizona's like one of my places I just love. But when I moved from there, got that cleaned up, I looked at the guy in the looked in the bathroom, I messed the bathroom, and I'm like, God, how many pills did he have? And when I was going to counseling, and I never thought about this, because I never really thought about him as a person on drugs. I always thought about the stereotypical drug user on the corner somewhere, just out, clothes disheveled, looked like they didn't bathe in about a year. He was like a functional, but barely functioning, because he didn't want to go to work. I believe he was on drugs, and I won't be surprised if he still is on drugs. And I'm like, this man had hard drugs, narcotics or whatnot. And I'm like, I had to get rid of all of those. I'm like, wow. And then my counselor, she mentioned to me at the time that he could have been on drugs. And it was like, you know, and honestly, tell you this story is kind of like, in a sense, he was like my trigger, in a sense, to getting my spiritual awakening. And I believe part of that was getting counseling and stuff, learning what normal is, what's the definition of living a normal life, healthy boundaries, healthy friendships, healthy relationships, healthy family dynamics. Excuse me, lips are getting dry. But yeah, so that was like literally so that's why I'd be like, thank you. And it was either learn from this situation or keep repeating it. Honey, I didn't repeat this. I kept learning. So, yeah. Hi. So, yeah, okay. So, a dog passing by. So, that's my story about, experience with that a narcissistic person. And if anybody had similar experiences, and I would appreciate, see them in the comment section, or, just like, subscribe. I would talk about this spirituality. I'm not sitting here and saying I'm a guru on there. I'm just going about what I experienced and what I'm learning and what things that were confirmed to me, And honey, I have some interesting stories, ghost stories, haunted house, haunted jobs, stuff that I experienced. And this is all true, and I have receipts and I can vouch for this stuff. And yeah, so please subscribe, comment, like, tell your friends. I don't have a whole lot of friends here in Albuquerque. So whoever I even gonna mention it to whoever, because I'm planning on volunteering like I wanted to way back in 2021. But hey, toxic job. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna post a video about that and post something about my run or whatever. I did have a run, like I said, it wasn't that great because I wasn't feeling very well. And plus I did some strength training yesterday, so I still feel a little tightness. It wasn't as bad as after the first strength training from last week, where I was like bathing in Tiger Balm and taking medicines, and it seemed like nothing wasn't helping. So it's getting better. And just follow me and my journey. And like I said, it's complicated, just like my name. My real name in real life is complicated. So just call me Kay. Talk to you later. Have a good weekend, have a good week, and I will see you next time.